Hi guys, my name is Dr. Colin Hill and I teach at Tennessee Tech University. Today we'll be talking about the ETSBOA 9th and 10th grader Snare Drum Etude. So the first thing to consider is that we want the accents in the very first measure to sound consistent but also different from the non-accented notes. Alright, so let's put a little bit more velocity into those accents so we get something that sounds like this. Right, all those accents were a notch above. When we get to the third measure, we have our first buzz roll. And for this entire etude, I'm going to use 16 notes as my roll skeleton. Meaning I'll be playing 16-note rhythms, but I'll be putting buzzes on each note of the 16th note. So for example, if I played measure 3 with no buzzes, this is the motion that my hands are doing. And I just put buzzes on those. So if I do it even slower, it sounds like this. And then at tempo, it'll sound like a buzz roll. Alright. When we get to the fourth measure, we have some eighth notes that decrescendo. I would use the sticking right, 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 just because I feel like personally I can get a more even decrescendo using that sticking. It's really easy to make each note slightly softer than the previous note when you're dealing with the same hand versus alternating there. In the fifth measure, I would use the same 16-note skeleton. All right. When we get to letter D, we have our first diddles. So with a diddle, you want two very clear notes per hand. All right. And these start at piano and crescendo. So I would go to the edge of the drum. I'm actually doing that consistently throughout. Whenever I play softer, I go closer to the rim. And when I play forte or fortissimo, I'm playing near the center of the drum. And then mezzo forte halfway in between. When I get to the second measure after D, I'm going to use the sticking right, left, 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 right, left. And that will essentially keep my left hand in constant motion. So watch. I'm essentially playing eighth notes on the E's and U's in my left hand. That sticking will help you keep the rhythm really consistent and in time because of that constant motion. When we get to the third measure after D, this is a tricky bar for a few reasons. One, we have really quiet buzz rolls. Those are tough for a lot of people. All right, so just really work on those. Don't over squeeze your grip. Keep them nice and open sounding. All right. But we also have this drag, and at piano, those can be really difficult. So just make sure you maintain clarity even though you're playing soft. I would practice that measure loud for a while until you get really good at it. And then I would start to get quieter. Right? So you can maintain clarity but just getting that a softer dynamic. And then the last thing I want to talk about is the last two notes. We have two flams, and I would use the same sticking for both of those flams. I would either do 4 and 1, or I'd go 4 and 1. I would do flams on the same hand. I wouldn't alternate 4 and 1, because you can get two different sounds from your flams, and they're going to be a little bit inconsistent in comparison to two flams on the same hand. So if you have any more questions about this etude, please feel free to contact me on Facebook or email me, and hopefully these tips have helped.